baby is missing 30% of his skin.
I've never seen a baby look like that before.
An emergency neurosurgery is needed, but the surgeon is 4 hours away. The world's stretchiest skin. It's not a sideshow trick, but an incredible medical condition. It began as a birthmark. Now it's out of control. Can this growth ever be removed?
Very real chance that she could bleed to death from an operation like this.
Junk food by prescription. But it's a lifesaver.
Well, I know that sounds terrible, but, you know, it's sugary and that's what she needs.
And werewolf syndrome, a genetic condition straight from the horror movies. The most incredible species on the planet is human. A twin birth with an unexpected complication.
I've never seen a baby look like that before.
A baby missing 30% of his skin.
It was visible, the organs inside of him, you could actually see them.
Even the doctors were shocked.
I hope I never see a defect larger than his.
Two years ago, Jared Conti came into the world with a problem. He was missing the skin from nearly 30% of his body.
He had no skin, and it was hard to really imagine, and it was basically the membrane that separates your skin from your internal organs. That was all that was there.
Jared had a very rare disorder, a condition called aplasia cutis congenita.
Aplasia cutis congenita is a condition that is basically of the skin. And what happens is that the skin doesn't form. It generally happens 80% of the time on the scalp, usually on the vertex, which is at the very top of the head, and it can vary from about 1/2 centimeter in diameter to defects that are as large as the one that Jared had.
You could see through his skull. He didn't have a skull. He didn't have skin covering his head or his abdominal area.
It was very scary. Jared's whole abdomen, up to his shoulders, was only covered by a thin membrane. Without skin, his organs had no protection from the outside world. A deadly infection could ravage his body.
We didn't know if he was going to live. We didn't know what was going to happen from there.
The cause of this 1 in a million condition has had doctors baffled for years.
We don't know how it occurs. I mean, the theory is that there is something that happens genetically that causes the skin not to develop.
Whatever the causes, aplasia cutis congenita was a life-threatening condition for Jared. 16 hours after birth, he was rushed into the OR.
Nobody knows how to treat these children, but we've had pretty good success with our method. I believe that they need to be surgically closed, if they can, as quickly as possible.
At any moment, Jared could be exposed to a fatal infection.
They said that he had a 10% chance of living through his first surgery. And so, you know, my uncle lived in Denver, and he came in and he baptized him because we were not sure if he was going to be with us still.
Later, Jared's surgeons attempt to cover his organs with a makeshift skin. A family farm in outback South Australia. Over 4 hours' drive from the nearest city, Adelaide. An 11-year-old boy is riding his motorbike home across the fields. Suddenly, a freak accident, and he could be dead in just hours.
I knew that he'd had a serious accident, basically, and I knew that we had to get him help as quickly as possible.
Young Harry Moyle had crashed into a cow. Thrown from his bike, his head slammed into the ground. The impact so hard it knocked his helmet off. It was now a race against time to save his life.
Should use the precautions of getting an ambulance, but subconsciously I knew we didn't have time for that, so we just sort of grabbed him and ran into the hospital.
Harry's mom was an experienced nurse at the local hospital. She'd seen serious brain injuries before. She knew her son's life was on the line. Dad drove into town as fast as he could, while she nursed Harry in the back seat.
Okay, Harry. It's all right. It's all right.
I didn't really understand how serious it was. Sarah assured me that we needed to get there as quick as possible, so I was really just doing as I was told.
Harry was semi-conscious and in bad shape.
Harry, can you hear me? Harry? Harry?
It was a frantic half-hour drive to the hospital. They'd phoned ahead, so medical staff were prepared, but time was running out.
Being a nurse, I knew that it was pretty serious. He deteriorated really quickly.
The impact had caused dreadful internal head injuries. It slammed Harry's brain around inside his skull. His brain was badly bruised and swelling up fast. Harry would soon be brain dead unless something was done immediately.
Harry's breathing became more laboured. His blood pressure started to go up and his pulse started to go down. And they can be early signs of increasing pressure within the brain.
Local doctor Jeff Taylor had never dealt with a potentially deadly head injury like this. His training told him to get Harry to the neurosurgeons in Adelaide. But there was no time.
Harry was going to die. He was deteriorating pretty quickly.
Harry's pupils were now dilated and fixed, a sure sign of dangerously high pressure on the brain. Dr. Taylor spoke to neurosurgeon Dr. Steve Santorinios in Adelaide. The news was very bad.
From the information I had at hand at the time, I thought he was as close to death as an hour.
I suppose the decision was really made that we need to do something that is going to give him extra time to be able to get to a proper neurosurgeon.
To save Harry's young life, Dr. Taylor would have to perform a craniotomy. It's a delicate and dangerous operation. He had to carefully drill right through Harry's skull into the membrane surrounding the brain. This allows blood and fluid from the swelling to be released. These so-called burr holes act as pressure release valves. Without them, the blood supply to the brain is cut off and it dies.
This isn't something that you have much time to treat. It's about half an hour of leeway.
Luckily, the little hospital had a drill right for the job. It hadn't been used for over 20 years, but it had been sterilized every year, just in case.
I've often walked past the operating theatre looking at it going, I hope I never have to use it, and tonight was the night.
Harry was prepped for the life-saving surgery. The old hand-operated drill that would do the job was assembled for the first time in 2 decades. This was going to be the most difficult and dangerous procedure Dr. Taylor had ever done.
The hardest part for me was actually having to say to Harry's mum that he needs an operation where we have to drill into his head. We've never done it before. I'll be in constant contact with the neurosurgeon, but I'll give it my best, but we can't make any guarantees.
Later, the operation goes ahead, but is it in time to save Harry? When Jared Conti was born, he was missing 30% of his skin.
It was visible, the organs inside of him, you could actually see them.
A rare genetic condition, aplasia cutis congenita, left his organs covered by only a thin membrane. It was the most extreme case his doctors had ever seen.
I hope I never see a defect larger than his.
And Jared was in trouble. If the organs were not covered to ward off infection, he would die. The critical thing was to protect Jared's brain.
I took existing skin on the sides of the defect in the scalp that was intact and very carefully fashioned flaps to move over the exposed brain.
But the abdomen was another problem. The defect was too large to use grafted skin from other parts of Jared's body, and his twin sister was not identical. Her skin was not suitable.
So what I did was I took an artificial skin called Integra, and I put that over his peritoneum and allowed that to sit for about 2 to 3 weeks.
And while that would work in the short term, Jared still needed his own skin.
I took small biopsies of his own intact skin out of his groin, and this was sent off to a company called Genzyme in Boston. And they cultured his cells and grew sheets of skin out of his cells from these groin biopsies.
Those sheets were then used to cover Jared's abdomen, and at last, his organs were protected. After 10 days, Megan could finally hold her new son in her arms.
When I got to hold him for the first time, it's like I couldn't let him go. Nobody else got to hold him that day. I mean, he was all mine.
Several months down the road, and a miracle recovery. Once his abdomen and brain were covered, Jared's body completed the job.
He essentially has closed his entire defect without bone grafts or without any further surgery.
Today, 2-year-old Jared plays happily with his twin sister Jordan and 3 other brothers and sisters. They're a happy, normal bunch of kids. Life couldn't get much better under the Colorado sun.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, he's essentially a normal little boy who, with a little bit more surgery, is going to only have minimal residual from his problem.
If you look at what he was like at birth and see him now, the difference is extraordinary.
They did say that he probably might not be able to sit up, maybe not even walk. He really went against the odds and showed them otherwise.
The only thing that's visible is a bit of scarring around the abdomen and a patch of missing hair. The hair will be fixed with follicle transplants later. Jared's never going to look back.
He's amazing. He will stop at nothing to get what he wants.
He has the will to fight and doesn't give up. And I think that'll prove to be a valuable thing for him later in life.
Whatever life holds for Jared, he's already won the biggest battle he'll ever face. This man is a human rubber band.
I'm a bit like a badly woven basket, very stretchy.
It might look painful, but not for Gary.
When I stretch my skin, it doesn't affect me whatsoever.
It's a medical condition that gives its sufferers super elastic skin.
Someone with hypermobile skin will be able to pull out their skin and let it go back without a wrinkle.
Gary Stretch Turner is the stretchiest man in the world.
I guess I first realised I had unusual skin when I was about 4 or 5 years old. The other children in the classroom would come along and pull my skin, and they'd be fascinated with it.
But this entertaining act has some serious health ramifications. Gary has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It causes thin and hypermobile skin. His joints dislocate, and he suffers from joint and back pain. Gary's health problems forced him to quit his job in construction and try a new career as a performer.
I guess at first I just went into it just for a bit of fun.
While many people with this form of EDS have skin hypermobility, Gary can manipulate his skin like nobody else. Gary holds the record for pinning 153 clothespins to his face.
And I looked at the guy in the book and looked at the clothesline, looked at the pegs and thought, yeah, I'll give that a go.
Yes! Surprisingly, Gary feels no pain performing these tricks.
It doesn't hurt a bit. It just looks very painful for other people to see because it would really hurt them to pull it to the extent I do.
EDS is caused by a defect in the production of collagen and can seriously affect the skin, joints, and vascular system. In a healthy person, collagen fibers look a lot like uncooked spaghetti, straight and strong when bundled together. In a person with Ehlers-Danlos, the collagen fibers behave like cooked spaghetti. They are tangled and don't line up together.
What that does is it changes the strength of the collagen. It changes the tensile strength. So it gives more, and its breaking point may be easier.
This means that Gary needs to be very careful, as his thin and fragile skin can easily bruise, tear, or cut. There is no treatment for Gary's condition, other than pain management for his joints.
Our goals is to eventually, hopefully, find a cure for Ehlers-Danlos, but being it's a genetic condition, there is no pill, there is no magic surgery, no magic bullet that will rid these patients of abnormal collagen.
Gary's skin snaps back into place, but that may not always be the case. Repeated stretching can lead to premature wrinkles and excess folds of skin, but this doesn't seem to worry Gary.
Well, from what I've been told from the doctors, and I'm going to get baggier, I guess I'm going to become a more incredible performer, hopefully, in the future.
In an Australian country town, Harry Moyle has suffered a terrible head injury.
Being a nurse, I knew that it was pretty serious. He deteriorated really quickly.
He needs neurosurgery fast, but the nearest specialist surgeon is 4 hours away. If the pressure in his brain is not relieved, Harry will die. A local doctor has no choice. He will perform the surgery with a specialist on the other end of the telephone.
I just knew there was no option. I knew someone had to do it. We were lucky we had a doctor who was had the confidence to do it.
Okay, Steve, we're in the theatre and patients prep, we're ready to go.
Dr. Santorinios described where to make the first incision.
So your incision is finger breadths in front of the tragus.
Okay, so I'm just going to make a small cut.
And then your hole is made 2 finger breadths above the zygoma.
Righto. How much pressure?
Dr. Taylor started drilling into Harry's head very slowly. He was terrified he'd drilled too far and go straight through into Harry's brain.
It was a new experience to me, getting this old stainless steel heavy drill and actually having to go slowly through someone's skull was certainly an experience that I'll never forget. Yep, I'm through now.
Dr. Taylor had pierced the skull in the right place.
Swelling at the brain there.
But amazingly, very little blood came out.
Steve, I'm just a little bit worried that we don't have a lot coming out of here.
Everyone was devastated. It hadn't worked. Harry was fading fast.
No, there's not much change there.
Dr. Santorinios told them to turn Harry over and try again on the other side.
Keep some suction on there.
This time they were in luck. As soon as the drill pierced Harry's skull, they knew they'd succeeded.
Okay, we've got some blood, quite a bit of blood coming out, and made quite a hissing sound at the same time. That's good.
Enough pressure on his swollen brain had been released.
We've got some good changes. There, Steve. It was a big sigh of relief when we were able to see the pressure relieve itself. It was one of the most satisfying moments of my career.
But Harry's life still hung in the balance. The drill holes had bought him some time. Now he'd have to survive the flight to Adelaide. And his family had to pray for more miracles when he got there.
The worry was that there may well have been some permanent neurological damage.
Harry made it to Adelaide's top hospital with no time to spare. Here, Dr. Santorinios performed 2 emergency surgeries on Harry's bruised and bleeding brain. But the prognosis still wasn't good.
I was told that it was the worst head injury that they've seen at the Women's and Children's Hospital for someone to have survived.
Kids have a remarkable capacity for recovery, much more than adults have after a similar injury. But even so, with such an injury, you expect a very severe neurological outcome.
Harry slowly began to regain all his functions. He'd somehow escaped serious, permanent brain damage.
I would be satisfied with a child that would have been alive, not to the degree that he's functioning now. He's surpassed everyone's expectations.
Harry remembers almost nothing of the 2 months between his accident and coming home.
I only can remember some nurses, and yeah, that's about all.
I think it was a team effort. Harry's stars were aligned that night, and it wasn't his time, and he's been able to make a good recovery.
He's just like any other 12-year-old, basically, doing the same sorts of things. School's harder for him, but he's getting lots of help.
At one stage, we just basically didn't think he'd ever get out of bed, so we are, and now he's got his full personality and stuff back. It's been an absolute miracle.
Harry still loves doing his farmyard chores, but he won't be doing any of them on a motorbike while Mom's around.
Motorbikes. Not allowed to ride a 2-wheeler because Mum's just a bit bossy.
A hideous growth that has the medical world baffled.
To have a disfiguring appearance like that, there must be a horrific lifestyle.
Albanian Sonia Nelly has been dealt one of nature's cruelest cards.
And it can be very horrific for people to see something like that.
Sonia was born with a port wine birthmark on her face. Normally, such marks thicken a little with age. But Sonia's case is extreme. Nobody knows why, but at the age of 12, the birthmark began to grow, and it hasn't stopped. The growth extends across the lower half of Sonia's face from ear to ear, engulfing her lower lip. It continues down to her chest and completely around her neck. The once vibrant girl is now a shy 41-year-old woman who lives a hermit-like existence.
Once that the growth was there, I never left home because people were laughing at me, so I've stayed and remained indoors, in other words, at all times.
In her culture, it's very important to get married and have children, and she doesn't know that, she knows that will never exist. She's been very depressed all her life.
So Moira Kelly decided to try and help Sonia through her charity, the Children First Foundation. Moira brought Sonia to Australia. Here on this isolated farm, she is surrounded by people that want to help her. With support, Sonia is once again socializing and is even spending time outdoors. Moira has enlisted one of Australia's finest plastic surgeons to try and give Sonia the chance to lead a normal life.
We don't know what causes these birthmarks at all. It used to be thought that it was because of something the mother did in pregnancy, which is why they're called port wine stains, because the mother drank port wine, which of course isn't true.
The marks are actually poorly formed dilated blood vessels. In most cases, they can be reduced with laser treatment. But if they're too large, the blood vessels make removal difficult.
Well, the problem with Sonia has been really to know where to start. We saw her, we saw the size of it and thought, well, this is going to be difficult. And then we got the scan, and the scan showed that this thing went right from the skin right down through all the tissues, all the way into around the throat, around the windpipe, everything. And we said at that stage, well, we just can't operate on this, we can't take this out. It's not going to work, it's too hard.
So the medical team tried an alternative treatment that had worked on smaller lesions.
Well, at first the doctors did some trials as injecting alcohol into the growth and hoping that it'll shrink the growth, but unfortunately it didn't.
In fact, the skin broke down. But the good news was there was much less bleeding than the team had expected. Perhaps surgery was possible.
We could control the amount of bleeding, then maybe we can just cut enough of it off to get it back to some sort of normal appearance, put skin grafts over the top and at least get it looking something like normal.
It wasn't going to be a complete removal of the tumor, but it would be an improvement.
We would pick one little area and take a little bit of this growth off and put a little skin graft and see what happened.
Perhaps Moira's determination to help Sonia was about to pay off.
Moira's doing something that no one else has done, and she's doing something for my life which will totally change my way of living.
But this is one of the riskiest procedures Dr. Pennington has ever attempted. Sonia's throat is so constricted, a tube is inserted into her windpipe to help her breathe during her treatment. And the lesion is full of blood vessels. The problem is knowing just where those vessels are when incisions are made.
Very real chance that she could bleed to death from an operation like this.
So Dr. Pennington is using a revolutionary new tool, the argon coagulator. This blows a stream of argon gas onto the point of incision. The gas dries up any liquid and focuses the beam that burns or chars the tissue to stop bleeding. Using a normal scalpel would mean any blood vessels that are cut have to be sewn closed. The argon coagulator cauterizes the major vessels as it goes. Later, can the tumor be removed? And will Sarnia survive? It's every parent's nightmare.
These babies are usually born without any outward sign that there's anything wrong.
When your child is born with a deadly condition.
They basically told us that she only had half a heart and that there was no hope for her.
And any surgery could be the last.
The surgery is the most complicated and difficult surgery that can be done on a child's heart.
Ashley Miller looked like a normal, healthy baby. Within days of her birth, the doctors realized there was something badly wrong. Ashley was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome.
They basically told us that what had happened was during Karen's pregnancy, the heart hadn't formed properly.
In a healthy heart, there are two working pumps. The right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs. The left ventricle pumps blood to the body, organs, and brain. The left half of Ashley's heart didn't develop properly. Only her right ventricle was pumping blood. Her organs were starved of oxygen. If it wasn't corrected, they would fail.
And we were basically told that it was only a 50% chance that Ashley would live.
I was, really devastated.
Ashley's only chance of living was to have a series of operations. The first would get blood flowing to her organs.
There is a high mortality rate for this operation compared to most other major operations that are performed on children's hearts.
Ashley went into surgery when she was just 5 days old.
But he told us that there was virtually no hope for her coming through the operations.
It was to be the first of 3 operations to rearrange the blood flow in her malformed heart. The surgeon needed to use the artery that pumps blood to the lungs to supply blood to Ashley's entire body. If it worked, her healthy right ventricle would keep her alive. But blood flow to her lungs would be compromised. Against all odds, Ashley survived the first surgery.
It was a relief, but they did say to us, that she could still die at any point, so just to, keep our fingers crossed, really, and hope to God.
But this was only surgery number 1. She still had 2 more to go.
And they say the second one is the easiest one of the 3.
This second operation was to re-establish strong blood flow to Ashley's lungs, straight from her right ventricle. As expected, she responded well, but she still needs 1 more surgery to adjust the flow of oxygenated blood to her body.
The third one is just as serious as the first one, so it's the third one we're sort of dreading now.
Before she can have this third operation, Ashley needs to be strong. But there's a catch. She's now 3, and she's tiny. She's only the size of a 1-year-old. Her body mysteriously refuses to grow, despite a special diet.
Because Ashley has got a poor appetite, and because of her heart condition, she needs more calories than a normal healthy child. So therefore, what we try to do is encourage high fat, high sugar foods, in addition to a normal healthy diet.
It goes against everything other kids are taught. Burgers, potato chips, chocolate, candy, and soda. Just keep it coming, and Ashley will wolf it down. They encourage this diet. They're desperate to see Ashley grow.
Well, I know it sounds terrible, but, it's sugary and that's what she needs. A lot of.
Despite her folks' best efforts, Ashley hasn't responded to the diet. So the last resort is to give her growth hormones every day. Surgery number 3 is due in 2 years, and it's very scary.
And yeah, we'll be really nervous about that one because it's just as serious. I think they have to adjust the vein again, and that leads to the heart.
And even after that surgery, life for Ashley won't be straightforward. In the meantime, her parents are thankful for every day they have with their young daughter.
Try not to think about it till it comes. I just live day by day with Ashley because we have been told she could stop breathing at any day.
But they're very optimistic about the future.
You've also got to look on the bright side. That 10 years ago, there was nothing they could do for this condition. And now 10 years on, there is a process that you can go through which gives them a chance of survival. So who's to say in 10 years' time there's not another breakthrough in medical technology?
Sarnia Nellie was born with a purplish birthmark on her face. In her teens, the mark began to grow rapidly.
Well, once that the growth was there, I never left home because people were laughing at me, so I've stayed and remained indoors, in other words, at all times.
Now she has left her home in Albania for surgery in Australia, but it's a complicated procedure.
Very real chance that she could bleed to death from an operation like this.
The growth is full of blood vessels, making removal difficult and dangerous. To avoid cutting major vessels, the surgeons have to know where they are at all times. So a radiologist is on hand with an ultrasound.
That's the joke. That's the joke there, carotid just deep to it. So it's still 2 centimetres. Yeah, roughly.
The area where Dr. Pennington is now cutting sits atop one of the body's most vital blood vessels, the jugular vein.
And that was the one I was worried about because big vessels in the neck, your main artery and the vein to the brain run up through the neck. And normally you can find those, you just dissect them out, and this thing is not a hope of doing that.
4 centimetres from here. Oh yeah, there. Right pitch of my finger, 4 centimetres.
Without Dr. Vrezos and the ultrasound, there's no way the surgeon could confidently cut into the growth on Sonia's chin. But even with the extra help, he can't avoid causing some bleeding.
There's some funny big vessels which we hit one of a minute ago, but that seems to be under control. It's very heavy having the ultrasound.
So far, so good.
That echogenic line is the tissue plane, I think, around the carotid sheath.
So it's got a plane on it.
It's just there. That ecogenic line there?
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
That's nice to know.
So that is the beginning of the carotid sheath. Attached to it. So you've got roughly 2 centimetres or 1.5 centimetres of tissue, okay?
2 hours have now elapsed, and Dr. Pennington has almost removed the large chunk of tissue. At last, it's done. And this chunk is just a fraction of what Dr. Pennington plans to cut away over the next few months. That's a 6-inch measure next to the piece of growth that's just been cut off Sarnia's face. But today's work is only half completed. They must now cover the exposed flesh with skin grafts from Sarnia's legs.
I'm just going to lay that over, sew it down, and then we're done. We won't get every last bit of it to take. You won't on a size, graft this size. As long as we get most of it to take, we should be all right.
The plan now is to slowly remove most of the tumor. It will take time, but eventually Sarnia will look like a different person.
It's just the most wonderful news that, I mean, you're talking about someone's whole life, and maybe to take some of that burden off and make her look lovely, and or maybe just acceptable, where people aren't going to stare like she's some terrible creature from beyond.
Sarnia still faces a number of lengthy operations to remove the rest of the growth from her face.
We're just cutting out pieces as we go and feeling our way, really. And so far we've been lucky that she hasn't bled torrentially.
But Dr. Pennington has warned Sarnia that despite months of painful surgeries, she'll still look different.
Fortunately, from here up, she looks pretty good. So she's got the eyes and everything on the upper lip. The lower lip's going to be very hard because it's all encased with this thing, and it's going to be very hard to get that to look normal. It won't move, and the lower half of the face won't move normally. But I think with the upper half of the face, that'll give her the expression, and she'll look less like a freak, more like somebody who's just had a burn or an accident.
I know she's happy now. She sees a future for probably the first time in her life, and she's willing to go the distance. I know she knows it's got to feel pain to get the results.
When the growth has been removed, I look forward to it, and it'll be like beginning of my life.
Jesus Acheves came into this world with one of the most striking congenital disorders.
Often people walk up to me and tell me that I'm the product of the devil because of the way I was born.
Over the centuries, people like him have been ridiculed and feared. He has a form of hypertrichosis, commonly known as werewolf or wolfman syndrome.
This is an extremely rare condition as we know it.
Jesus is one of about 40 people in the world who have the condition.
My hair grows very long, especially my head hair, of course, grows like everybody else's. My facial hair grows longer, and it continually grows. One of the reasons we have to trim it, because it grows so long that sometimes it covers my mouth. And the bottom part of it, through my chin, it really grows long like a regular beard. But the problem that I have is the one that grows around my nose and around my eyes.
Normally, our hair follicles limit hair growth. They switch between active and dormant phases, when each hair falls out and a new one begins to grow. But with hypertrichosis, the dormant phase never happens. Some researchers believe a gene long since turned off in most of us is active in sufferers, called an atavism. It's a throwback in evolution, so hair grows where it would have on our ancestors. But others point out that apes have little hair on their eyelids, unlike Jesus. The truth is, we don't really know the cause.
I hope that in the next, within the next 5 years or less, that we're able to actually find the actual mutation.
For now, though, Jesus has to keep up the daily grind of grooming. Growing up in a small Mexican village, life was hell for the boy they believed was spawned by the devil.
Because of
the way I looked, it was very difficult to come forward and talk to people. People were just afraid of me. What made it worse is when somebody started writing articles on their local newspaper saying that I, as a little boy, was a little wild boy that went around biting people and biting children, which wasn't true.
These kinds of conditions have big psychological impact on people's well-being.
Yeah, the problem is that people have different ideas of what I am. Some people think, like the police, they will stop me once in a while. They see me walking down the street or on a car and they pull me over to see if I'm wearing a mask. I go to a bank and right away everybody freezes because they think I'm wearing a mask.
But Jesus doesn't let his hair get him down. He's a regular on the U.S. circus tour. He works at it year-round, so he can send much-needed money home to his family and to educate the public.
When I'm in the circus, not all glamour. When I'm in the circus, I work, I bring down the tent, I put up the tent, and then when I perform, mostly it's coming out in front of an audience, letting people see me talk about my condition and answer some of the questions of the audience. And I also allow them to come and touch my face to see that it's real. What I have is real. And I enjoy doing that a lot. I like people coming up, I like talking to people, and be able to explain to them why is it that I look this way, especially children.
Incredibly, this rare disease is not unusual in Jesus's family. Hypertrichosis has ravaged 3 generations. He has an uncle, 5 cousins, a sister, and now a daughter, all with the same genetic mutation. But Jesus has the most severe form of the condition. One day, the family's genetic code may be deciphered and used to help others.
If we find the gene that's affected in this one family, that it could be a target for a drug that could be used for treating excessive hair growth in this family or in other patients that have excessive hair growth, or possibly to treat baldness or alopecia, which is a clinical term.
A cruel twist of nature. No prenatal test will warn you of these horrendous birthmarks. How could these huge moles grow out of control?
We don't know. It's some error in assembly of the baby. So some of those cells go astray and end up being in the skin.
The medical term for a mole is a nevus, and lots of babies are born with small ones. But around 1 in 20,000 get them bigger than your hand. And when they're this size, there's more chance they could turn cancerous and kill.
There was a great risk of cancer and possibly early death, so we were devastated.
When Eli's parents first saw him, they were shocked. A giant nevus covered his back. And he had thousands of smaller ones from head to toe. No one had ever seen anything like it.
Nobody in the hospital at the time could really help us with any information. Not even our obstetrician had delivered a baby with a giant congenital nevi.
It was very, very, very concerning, and we proceeded to try to figure out what it was as we were, of course, totally falling in love with him.
These brown or black birthmarks are made up of different types of cells to normal skin. They develop from special pigment-producing cells called nevomelanocytes. And that's why they're dangerous. These types of cells have a higher risk of turning cancerous.
Our worry that some part of this giant nevus may turn into melanoma and that we're not going to be able to detect that until it's too late.
But Eli is not alone. Little Ian Campbell was also born with a nevus. He only had the one.
The whole right side of his face was black and it was very hairy. Nobody in the hospital seemed to exactly know what a nevus. They knew what it was, but they didn't know exactly what you do, the ramifications.
Texture of this is really quite thick.
But thanks to the incredible skills of surgeons like Dr. John Reinisch, there's hope for these kids. He uses the very latest skin grafting and laser techniques. Over a series of operations, these birthmarks can be cut out for good.
You know, our goals for the surgery are, one, to try to remove as much malignant risk as possible, and two, is to make them look as good as possible so that they can lead as normal a life as any child.
But there are dangers involved with any surgery, and recovery from each one is painful. For these parents, though, the benefits outweigh the risks.
Anything that could help our baby have a longer, better life, we would do. And when we determined that there was possible risk, you want to come up? Then I really felt like there was no question that our decision was made.
Having half of his face with a nevus was just unacceptable, you know, especially when we have the technology and the means to make it better.
Not all doctors will risk operating on babies with this condition. Many wait until they reach school age, but not Dr. Reinisch.
Our philosophy here is a little different than many. We try to do the surgery early so that by the time they're a year and a half, everything is done. Scars and grafts tend to heal better with time, so you don't want to do it when you're 4 or 5 years of age and then go to school with lots of red bumpy scars. But if you can do it when they're under 1, by the time they're in school at 3 or 4 or 5, those scars have had a lot of time to mature.
Imagine going to school looking like this. Luckily, Ian won't have to.
The first words out of Dr. Reinisch's mouth were, "We could fix that."
The nevus on his face was removed, but there was more on his scalp. If that was removed, he'd need a skin graft from another part of his head.
We ended up putting a large tissue expander, which is a balloon, under the normal scalp, so that we tried to be as efficient as possible. Then we started inflating that, and after about 3 months of expanding his scalp, or the normal scalp, we were then able to use that expanded scalp, tissue that has hair, and then remove the remaining nevus of his scalp, which came all the way down here with that tissue. And so he's had a couple operations and looks pretty good at this point.
And as barbaric as it was medical science at its finest. But that was 4 months of really, really hard, just emotional and physical challenges for everybody in the family.
For Ian, the worst is over, and his scars will fade before he starts school.
So he'll never have to experience, you know, the social ridicule or the just the uncomfortableness that kids can go through when they look different than everybody else.
And Eli is nearly there too. His nevus is being cut off in stages. The grafts from his own body have moles, but nothing like the original nevus. It's a huge improvement already. Thanks to Dr. Reinisch and some incredible medical ingenuity, these 2 boys now have a chance to be happy and healthy as anyone else.